It's no secret that we love Mother Nature. Reducing waste and harnessing nature is kind of our thing. For that reason, we decided to make the Nature's Generator Elite serviceable. In this video, we'll be going over how to replace the battery and the inverter on the Nature's Generator Elite. Be sure to watch the entire video first, as some steps can be skipped if you're only going to replace the battery. Let's start off with a list of tools that you're going to need. Go ahead and pause the video here and write everything down. Grab your 4mm Allen wrench and remove the 4 screws securing the generator lid to the chassis. Once all 4 screws have been removed, pull up on the lid and set it aside. Carefully lay the generator on its back. Before we proceed, we need to make note of the generator orientation. Looking at the base of the generator, you'll notice a notch in what is the rear of the base and no notch in the front. Keep this in mind moving forward, or simply stick a label or make a mark noting the front of the generator. Using a Phillips head screwdriver, remove the 12 screws that secure the generator body to the base. Some of the screws have trouble coming out of the holes. If so, simply grab a magnet to fish them out and set them aside. Next, use the same 4mm Allen wrench to remove the 4 screws securing the base to the chassis. Once all of the screws have been removed, carefully put the generator back on its base, making sure it doesn't come apart in the process. Moving to the top of the generator, we're going to be working with the positive and negative battery cables, the bridge connector, and the ribbon cable for the control panel. A quick note before we start, you might hear the battery cable's arc when being removed. This is normal, so don't panic. Grab your 13mm wrench and, just like on a car, always disconnect the negative battery cable first. After, and only after, the negative battery cable has been disconnected, proceed to disconnect the positive battery cable. Remove the plastic cap on the bridge connector. Using a Phillips head screwdriver, disconnect all of the cables from the bridge connector. They're all color-coded, so reinstalling them will be easy. Follow the yellow and green grounding wire from the bridge connector to the right rear side of the chassis. Using a Phillips head screwdriver, disconnect the wire from the chassis and set it aside. Remove the white ribbon cable from the bridge connector, then remove the black ribbon cable located fourth from the left on the front panel. With everything disconnected, lift up on the front and rear panel assembly and remove it from the generator and set it aside. Lift up on the generator body and set it aside. You might need to give it a little wiggle for it to come loose. On the left side of the generator, you'll see the power relay. Using a Phillips head screwdriver, remove the positive and negative cables from the relay, then proceed to disconnect the white ribbon cable and set it aside. Moving to the right side of the generator, use a 10mm wrench and a 10mm socket and ratchet to remove the positive and negative battery cables from the inverter. Next, use a Phillips head screwdriver to remove the smaller positive and negative battery cables from the inverter as well. Remember, remove the negative cables first. Using your scissors, cut the zip tie that secures the bundle of cables to the chassis. Be sure not to damage any cables in the process. With everything disconnected, grab onto the chassis and lift it off of the generator base. Be careful, it's a little heavy. You now have full access to the inverter. If that's the only piece that needs replacing, use a Phillips head screwdriver to remove the 4 screws securing the inverter to the base. Remove the old inverter and swap it in with the new one, and voila, you're done. If the battery needs replacing, use a Phillips head screwdriver to remove the 3 remaining screws securing the battery tie-down bracket to the chassis. Once removed, simply swap out the old battery for the new one. Simplicity and serviceability was the name of the game when designing this generator, and it's something we really pride ourselves on. For replacement parts, visit our website or get in touch with us at naturesgenerator.com. Oh, and if you need help putting this thing back together, just watch the video from the beginning or work your way backwards. It's pretty straightforward.